nom nom. Nom 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 nom. Do you know what I'm doing? What I'm snacking on here?
Is it your words?
Yep. It's humble pie, but it tastes okay because Io Sky is your new women's world champion. The Women World Championship belt of WWE.
Correct.
It's Io Sky. She beat Rhea Ripley. What? I didn't see that coming.
No.
Nobody did, I think. I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Luke Owen, DAD, your Jam That Champion. If you haven't already, please press the thumbs up button. Give us a subscribe. Leave a comment down below with what you thought of Io Sky winning the belt, and send in your chat gables who will, is there our chatador, our El Chatadors to WrestleTalk.com/support. It's finally happening. Mexican made are here.
I wrote in my notes, I think Ollie's going to get El Chatador.
Yes. And also, please go check out our sponsor for today's episode, Geology.
Thank you very much to this episode's sponsor, Geology. Get your skincare routine better today. Thank you to Geology for sponsoring this episode. They've been sponsoring us for quite a while now, and we absolutely love and adore these products. If you are someone who needs to get good skincare but doesn't quite know what to do about it, Geology are here to help. It's an award-winning company. It is an award-winning product, multiple thousands of 5-star reviews, and you can get 70% off your trial set using the promo code WRESTLE70, clicking the link in the video description and down below, or the one that's being spammed by our wonderful moderating team.
It's why I don't look absolutely awful.
No. You just
both of us. Yeah, just sound it all the time now.
Because you can't get rid of a cold. There it is.
I've been fine all day. And it's like we walked in here, my throat sensed this microphone and started to go, here's a little tickle. Here's a little tickle.
It went, ooh, a little tickle there.
Right, so do we need a QR code?
I'll tell you what.
You go make that happen. For Geology. Once actually this is the best new way to get sponsors over. Oh, yay! Yeah, that is the QR code you can scan to get your Geology set. Oh, tell me when.
3, 2, 1.
That was really fun. Excellent content for podcast audio listeners. Right, so Rhea Ripley was always due to face Io Sky for the last couple of weeks in the main event of this episode of Raw. It was after Elimination Chamber. We had this angle at Elimination Chamber after Bianca Belair won, and she poses on the top of the ramp, and Rhea Ripley comes out and holds up her belt. And you're like, okay, yeah, because that's the direction for Mania. And then Io Sky steps in between them like, I'm here too, remember, I've got the Raw match in 2 days' time. And I just thought, yeah, well, you need to make us believe that it could be a possibility. But no way in hell is Io Sky getting added to this match.
For last week or so, maybe 2 weeks, when I've been writing the WrestleTalk news, and I'm writing down, announced matches for WrestleMania and perceived planned matches based on what is happening on TV, I have written in my notes the winner of the Elimination Chamber versus Rhea Ripley or Io Sky. But in my head, when I've been writing those notes, I'm just like, the winner of the Elimination Chamber versus Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
But I'm going to put or Io Sky just because that is what is being set up on TV. But we all know that it's going to be against Rhea Ripley. Yesterday, we were shooting worst match ever. And Tempest said to me, he's like, kind of like a lot of everyone, not really into the idea of this Rollins, Punk, Reigns 3-way match. And he was like, but if you get an Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair 3-way match, I'm quite happy with that being the 3-way match. And I was like, dude, it's not going to happen though, because Io Sky is heading to Tag Team Title City at WrestleMania. It's her and Dakota Kai taking on Judgment Day because they'd set that up on television.
Mm-hmm.
They'd beaten the now tag team champions to set up a match for WrestleMania, and that's a shame for Io Sky, but it is what she's going to be doing. Egg on my face.
Yeah, maybe Kairi Sane could come back, tag with Dakota. They go for the tag belts there.
Could be.
And Io Sky is going for the gold. Well, no, she has the gold.
Yeah.
And I still can't believe it. I'm thinking maybe they'll do a 3-way and Rhea can defend her belt against... No, it's Io's belt now. So it was the main event of the show. Bianca Belair was at ringside. She was asked by, I think, Kathy Kelly. I feel like Kathy Kelly backstage, Jackie Redmond in front of the stage.
I feel like
that's the split.
Maybe they swap sometimes.
And whoever it was asked Bianca Belair, what about Jade Cargill and Naomi? And she's like, it's not fair for me to talk about it until I've spoken to them. So she hasn't spoken to
Well, that's been a
anyone.
TV show since Elimination
Yes.
Chamber, so she can't speak to people.
Just like Jade Cargill couldn't have spoken to anyone.
Which wasn't any TV taping.
Yes.
You can't speak to other wrestlers unless you are in a TV show with them.
They need like a Slack.
Get Discord, mate.
Yeah, just slip into the DMs on Slack on the WWE freelancer pool thing. I don't know where I'm going with that. But she then goes, well, I'm going out now to watch a ringside to see who I'm facing at WrestleMania because I'm on the chamber. And again, you're like, because she's going to set up a feud with Rhea Ripley.
Because that's the big match. It's Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. It's Rhea Ripley, who is like, this dominant women's champion, versus the undefeated at WrestleMania, the new WrestleMania streak of Bianca Belair.
And that's a good point, because if we look at where Rhea Ripley's been, she had the eternal feud against Liv Morgan.
Didn't she just?
She won the belt on the Netflix debut Raw.
Yep.
I think that's right, isn't it? Yeah. So she's only had the belt for 2 months.
Barely.
Which, in Triple H standards, is a flash in the pan.
More or less. I think that's, again, why she's going to WrestleMania as champion.
And Rhea feels like she was building this larger story against, Charlotte went in the Tiffany direction, but against someone like a Bianca Belair, or maybe a Becky Lynch would come back. But Rhea, since winning the belt, has been, and I didn't really realize it until now, a bit of a one-dimensional, arrogant champion.
I found out that kind of a similar point on this show because they had a video package to hype this match up. And Rhea Ripley was like, and you'll find out that Mummy is always on top. And I'm like, oh, these are the promos you were doing a year and a half ago.
In the heel Judgment Day stuff.
Yeah. I don't think you've moved on a lot as a character since then.
Well, I disagree, because she's also got this thing like, I've never beaten you, Io Sky. You've beaten me once or twice. That was down in NXT in 2020, but that was 5 years ago. I'm a very different person now. And I think she is, obviously, especially since 2020.
Of course.
But you had Mammy Rhea Ripley a year and a half ago. She had Judgment Day. Then she turned babyface. And we've had the Rhea Ripley of the last year.
Taylor Twins.
And now she's back to kind of where she was, but she hasn't got Judgment Day this time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think a year and a half ago, in the old Judgment Day, she's getting distracted by something petty on the outside. Often she's responsible for the petty distractions.
Yeah. I suppose you said because I was about to counter that and say, well, I feel like that was just done to set up the triple threat for WrestleMania, because I think that's where we're going to be heading. Like, she lost her title because of Bianca Belair. That's how she can get into the match with Belair and Sky and make it a triple threat. But in fairness to like the point you're making there, she did cause that, the DQ that got Io Sky out of the chamber thing because of her like one-track mind attitude.
The thing that did it for me, and this I didn't pick up on this, someone on Reddit wrote it, and they were just like, oh, I love the spot where Io used the power of friendship to turn the tide against Rhea Ripley. There's this great sequence where Io hits like Dakota Kai's kick in the corner, then she hits Kairi Sane's flying elbow, and then she gets in the Ascalon.
That was awesome.
All
Great
the
sequence.
members of Damage Control, her faction. And you're like, Io is this person who has a gang, and Rhea Ripley is now this person. Now Damian Priest has gone to SmackDown. She's isolated.
It's an island unto herself.
And it's like it was just so, and it could just be a hack thing to set up this WrestleMania direction. I hope not, because I think there's more character mileage in Ripley now being a bit, I guess, paranoid. And she's a bit fragile, a bit insecure.
Because she was yelling, because Bianca Belair, the reason why she gets involved with Bianca Belair is because they have a spot where Io is being counted out, and Bianca Belair stands up and starts applauding Io Sky to get back in the ring, cheering her on, effectively siding with Io, like preferring Io over Ripley. And so Rhea then gets in Bianca's face and was like, oh, you're picking her over me? Like, you'd rather face her at WrestleMania? Tough titties. I'm about to go hit her with a Riptide.
Tough Brutatana titties.
And then that is when she goes to hit the Super Riptide. Io reverses it into a top rope Hurricane Rana, or a middle rope Hurricane Rana, hits the over the moonsault and gets the win. And so it was that moment. And even when she was setting up for the Super Riptide, she was again looking at Bianca Belair being like, this is who you've picked. This is your pick. It's going to be me.
I think it's also Io wouldn't stay down. Ripley kept on trying to beat her. It was sort of power versus smarts, and Ripley would hit a power move, go for the pin, and just be like, "What have I got to do to beat Io?" Io kept getting up. When she's down on the outside, because she can't beat her. When she's down on the outside, and Bianca is saying, like, "Willing, come on, you can do it, Io. Get up one more time." I can see how that would be more frustrating for Rhea.
Yeah, I see. For me, it wasn't a case of she kept getting back up. It was Rhea Ripley does not know the game plan to beat Io Sky because she's never beaten her before. So she's doing the things that she would normally do, even though those things don't normally win matches either. But
I'm hitting all of my setup moves, and they're just getting near falls.
I've tried nothing, and I'm all out of ideas. So I read it more as like, it's less of a, oh, she just keeps getting back up. It's like, I actually don't know what pieces, where I'm supposed to put these pieces in order to complete this circuit.
That is better. Yeah, I agree with that, actually, in that respect. So yeah, now Io then beats Rhea Ripley. I feel like the reaction in the crowd was not, yeah, Io. It was, whoa.
Yeah.
Rhea lost. Which I don't know if that's like the reaction, the best reaction for everyone.
Yeah, it's the reaction to a shock title win. Like this is, a lot of times when we do the WrestleTalk videos, you might title it shock title win. This is one of those times where I would say this is a genuine shock title win, because I think if we'd have polled people when we did our Elimination Chamber, there would have been a 80-20 splits over if they think it's going to be Rhea Ripley or Io Sky. And the ones that voted for Io Sky didn't really think she was going to win, just wanted her to win. Because I was one of those guys. I've been saying, like, since the start of January, like, my direction is it's Io versus Rhea at WrestleMania for the title, like, even before she went off of Liv. So I've been like, I wanted this. I was on this train. I wanted Io Sky into this position. But I went into this match never thinking Io Sky was going to win. A genuinely brilliant shock title change.
We wanted Io to win at the Rumble.
Yeah. Well, but again, I was like, but she's not going to win. I was there. I was sat here with tempers. It was like, I really want Io to win. And I was like, but she's not going to. This is Charlotte's to win. And I went into this match being like, yeah, but she's not going to. It's Rhea's to win. And then she won. I'm like, oh, great. That is the Brian Alvarez said on Wrestling Observer. It's like, oh, twists and turns. I've been told that more twists and turns are going to be coming. This feels like a twist and a turn that I did not see coming.
Yeah, and you kind of have to. I wish Triple H did book a bit more frequently in the unpredictability, but
does it feel like we're on the road to WrestleMania now?
Because he hasn't really done anything creatively risky for a year.
Since last WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's quite shocking when it happens. So I guess he protected the spot, brother. He made this feel more. He stopped having blood earlier in the night, so this would feel more impactful.
Do you think this was always the plan? Do you think this was always the direction?
Triple H obviously really likes Io Sky. I think she's one of his girls. But also so's Rhea and Bianca. And Liv. Meltzer was saying on Wrestling Observer Radio that Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair would be a really good WrestleMania match. But if the aim is to put on an excellent in-ring match, you need to put Io Sky in there because she's one of the best wrestlers in the company.
I disagree with Meltzer on that one. I think you'd have got that with Bianca and Ripley. Like, case in point, I look at Ripley and Charlotte Flair, one of probably the best women's match WWE have ever put on.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of that, I'd look at Bianca and Sasha, and I was like, one of my favorite WrestleMania main events of all time. Those two together would have put on an awesome WrestleMania match. Like, that's not to discredit Io Sky, but I think they would have been able to have an awesome match, a 5-star classic without Io Sky in there.
I think the chances drastic go up, though, if you add an Io Sky in there because it spells success for them at WrestleMania.
Tell that to my GM mode. Like, if you for some reason, if you put on a triple threat, sometimes it just like loses half a star.
But also, there's a lot of singles matches around the big titles at Mania. My GM's like, you need a bit of variety.
A bit of variety. Spice this one up.
Let's throw in a three-way. And I will come on to the CM Punk Seth Rollins thing. They're blowing that off. It's a steel cage match.
I thought this was awesome. I suppose my next question is, because Bianca Belair was an interesting person to win the Chamber anyway. She's pretty much who I figured was going to win the Chamber when you saw the lineup. But I then was like, oh, and I guess then she'll win at WrestleMania because she feels like she is on this WrestleMania streak. She is undefeated at WrestleMania. But is that a company she is undefeated at WrestleMania, or is it a online, we have noticed she's never lost a WrestleMania, so we have created this WrestleMania streak? They will call her Miss WrestleMania. You can't spell WrestleMania without EST. But they've never really, I mean, as far as I'm aware, Phil, please correct me if I'm wrong, have gone to great lengths to say undefeated at WrestleMania. It's not like the Undertaker's streak. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, if it's a three-way, you could just pin Ripley.
But she's then lost. This is the Penta thing.
Yeah, I don't like it. You're right. So yeah, in terms of like where we go now, I feel like Rhea Ripley. There's an argument that she could go a little bit heelish off the back of this, which I think would be really good for her character. In terms of crowd appeal, I mean, they can do what they want. I think the crowd are too hot for her to turn her heel.
100%. Yeah, I think that'd be a bad move.
Bianca Belair, however, I think there's the whole Jade Cargill Naomi thing happening.
Maybe this is how you can do the Belair turn. I figured they wouldn't do that until after Mania, because if it's going to be like Jade and Naomi at Mania, then you can do the Belair reveal post Mania.
Yeah. Belair wins the title. Jade's her first challenger who beats Naomi. That makes sense. And then you've got Io in the middle of it, which that chamber image was actually quite smart. It's a visual to sell a three-way. Yeah. We think it's going to be a three-way at Mania?
I'm fairly convinced
that
it'd be a three-way, only because the finish of the match. If Io had just beaten Ripley clean, then I wouldn't be thinking three-way. But because the finish of the match directly involved Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, I think we're heading for a three-way. Could be wrong on that one, but if TV was telling me that it's a three-way.
I hope Io beats Rhea Ripley for years to come. And it's just this thing they can have.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, excellent main event to one of the best Raws of the year so far.
So my only thing I would say is if Belair is going to win the title at WrestleMania, it kind of sucks for Io Sky, because then she is basically a transitional champ. And then I would kind of look upon this the same way that I did when Bray Wyatt won the title at Elimination Chamber, when I was like, I can't get excited for this because he's just going to lose it to Randy Orton at WrestleMania. So, and if that is the case and Belair wins it, I'll probably look at it the same way I looked at Jey Uso's IC title run in inverted commas, which was just done for a moment. And I don't think we should just be doing title changes for moments to pop a crowd. That is basically the same way that Vince Russo used to apply to, you do a title change to pop a rating.
I don't mind, because I was a bit bored of all the logic. Give me a bit of chaos. Now's the time to do it. I've waited 9 months.
I've got my chaos elsewhere. Title reigns, I feel like you should be a bit more protected.
Let's see what you'll think on the El Chatadors. Please get them into WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out every single one, over $5. Badger Fingers 27 writes, going to watch your reaction later. Just had to say, I cannot believe Io Sky is the champion. She deserves this. 10 out of 10. Also, last episode to go on Mustache Wars for me. Great content all round. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, the final episode of the Mustache Night Wars is now up and it's live. You can watch the full series. It's in entirety. It's myself and Ollie Davis playing my GM mode.
Didn't it finish last week?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, good.
Yeah. So you can now watch the whole series in its entirety, all 12 episodes of it. And we had a great time recording it. And we're in studio again this week filming the new season of the Monday Night War.
I'm really looking. I want to play the game.
Me too. I can't wait.
Yeah.
There's so many interesting. Have you seen who one of the GMs is for my GM 25? CM Punk.
I wonder who I'll play as.
Well, you'll be playing as yourself because that's
that's the
gimmick that we set up. But Weird that Punk is one of the GMs on my GM mode.
Foreshadowing, taking over NXT.
Maybe.
Ben writes, I love the fact Io has won. She truly deserves it. I'm just afraid this is just to put the belt on Bianca until next WrestleMania, where she faces Rhea, who wins the Rumble. Keep up the amazing work.
I hadn't actually thought that far out, that far ahead, where the idea is that Bianca wins it at WrestleMania this year to build to her and Ripley the following year. It's interesting.
I think Triple H doesn't think that far ahead either anymore, because The Rock will just come in and change it. Finlay James R. writes, did John Cena turn heel on Saturday? They should have mentioned. If you told me Rhea would drop the belt before Mania, I would normally be upset. But it's Io, so it's okay. I think do the triple threat this year, then next year Bianca versus Rhea.
It's not a bad idea, I actually don't think that's a bad idea at all. I think it's a really good idea.
Kazoo, this is definitely one of the biggest upsets of recent memory. Even the crowds didn't expect it, and they were 100% behind Rhea at the beginning too. But they also kept hammering it that Rhea's never beaten Io, but that was only in NXT. Insane stat.
Yeah. I think it's a great little thing to fall into.
I thought all of that stuff, though, was so when Rhea beat her, it was like, yes, I am fully powered mummy on the road to face Bianca.
Yeah.
But no, they went the other direction. Night Lord Jagan writes, morning from North Carolina. Lads, I loved Io winning the title. I like wrestling when it's unpredictable like this, so I got a kick out of it. I feel bad for Gunther so much, and could we get your best Cena grumpy faces jam that jam?
You say grumpy faces, but he's only got the one.
That moment of silence, podcast listeners, was us attempting the Judge Dredd sort of downturned face.
That's what he's doing. He's looking to get the role of Dredd in an upcoming movie.
I think it'd be pretty good. He's mostly there with the Peacekeeper helmet design.
Yeah, that's not going to be Carl Urban at this point, is it?
Real Double J writes, subverting the typical 2010s booking details leading into it got me. Constantly being told Rhea has never beaten Io, and Io not getting a full entrance. Yes.
Yeah, she came out during the ad break.
All this fed into my smart mindset of, well, we know who's going to win. I'm so happy to be hoodwinked.
The thing is, I didn't even think of it from that aspect, Real Double J. I just thought, Io's guy's not winning this title.
Ket, I hope Io's reign isn't going to be a transitional run. Let this title run go on for a few months, but I fear this might be the case. Personally, I'm okay with it.
I am not.
Holy moly. Hey, what's up, guys? Just wondering if you guys happen to catch Rhea's interview after the match. I personally would like for Karrion Kross to approach and affect her thoughts. Should be his first female target and could play puppet master advocate. Thoughts?
I think Karrion's got enough on his plate at the moment. With now that it looks like Sami Zayn's not going on to WrestleMania, he's like, I've lost my Mania match. AJ Styles, huh?
AJ Styles, Logan Paul. That's a good little program. I don't think that they certainly fit in a sort of appearance aesthetics, but Scarlett would be right there. I don't think it quite works. Tim DG, Rhea Bianca will one day be the best WrestleMania main event, but both feel one-dimensional right now. I disagree. I feel like in the last couple of weeks they've started to show fractures of their superhero personalities.
Bianca in particular, because Bianca was doing nothing for like a year and a bit. She's been doing nothing in the Triple H era, really. But now it feels like, I can see some semblance of a character forming here now.
Io winning and the three-way will be a great match, and now serves as the first chapter for the next great WWE rivalry between two insanely talented and charismatic women. Love, jam that jam.
Very good point.
Yeah, props to WWE. They finally started writing stories for the women's division.
So let's not go too far. This feels like when that UltraChat came in and being like, we're headed for a bigger WrestleMania than last year. I was like, look, John Cena's got one thing. I was like, let's not use that as to ignore the rest of the subpar booking. I'd say we need to just pump the brakes for one good thing.
Kendall Dorman. Hello, wrestling fam. Have you guys seen the post-match interview Rhea had after the title loss? She talks about how friends are not real in this sport and speaks on how, since the Judgment Day split, she feels isolated and sabotages potential friendships.
You picked up on this in the match.
I haven't seen that.
But you picked up on it in the match itself.
Well, I did a lot of leaps. I'm not going to deny that. It was weird. She was so disproportionately affected by Bianca, and the Io Sky run through her teammates' moves. And I was like, oh yeah, Priest is at SmackDown now. And then I sort of fantasy booked upwards.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see that that's the hopeful direction. The Pain Train. Stoked that Io won the title. Didn't see that coming after Elimination Chamber. That said, if she immediately drops it to Bianca at Mania, I'll be furious.
Yeah. Remains to be seen. I'm on the fence on that one.
Rob Steedley has been a member for 30 months in a row. Love this match and this angle. NXT Women's Division is the best one in all wrestling right now. The main roster needs to take notes. WrestleMania will be great. Jam that jam.
I mean, WrestleMania will be great this year.
Yeah. Thank you, Geology.
Thank you very much to this episode sponsor, Geology. If you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you think, man, do I need to do something about my skincare routine? Then why not click the link for Geology in the video description down below or being spammed in the chat by our wonderful moderating crew. This is how it works. I am someone who, for a while, you do this every month. Stop doing it. Stop revealing how I live and how, like, when I bring this into work, it ruins it. This is how it works. I'm a man who is quite bad with my skincare routine, or at least I was, until Geology entered into my life. So I don't know what to do. I don't know what products to use. I don't know when to use them. Is it run out a little bit?
A little bit. Use it all.
I've been using, this is my usual slot. So I then took the quiz on Geology, and they formulated this for me. So I now have my own skincare routine with a little card that tells me what I need to do in the evening and at night to really get the most out of my skincare routine. So Geology, click the link in the video description down below, take the quiz and find out how best to improve your face with an award-winning 5-star review product. Multiple awards, multiple 5-star reviews, and you can get 70% off your trial set using the link in the video description down below and the promo code WRESTLE70. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I use it all the time because my skin can't deal with cold weather. And then walking into not air conditioned, but heated rooms.
So mine at the moment is like when I shave my head, it gets super dry.
Oh really?
Yeah, really
on the dome.
Yeah, on the dome. Once I've shaved my head, I've got my little skull shaver. So I then have to like moisturize it up a little bit and add some nourishment.
So you're saying that's not your natural hydrated skin state on the top of your head?
No.
You bald fraud! That's a very good transition into the play-by-play review of Raw, because it opened with the best CM Punk promo in WWE since his return.
This was so good.
Yeah, he was pissed off. This felt like Punk in 2011, in 2012. He's a baby face, so yeah, those parts. The show starts, got all the clips of people arriving, and then, right now, the car pulls up, it's Punk, he gets out, he looks incredibly pissed off, and he storms down through the curtain, down the ramp, he grabs a microphone from some guy, he kicks over the Prime bottle, and then he pulls up the lid on the announce table and stands on it. I just thought he was going to destroy ringside and then go in the ring, cut a promo. But he stands on top of the table like he's Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting, because things hit differently when there's different perspectives to things. And Punk looks down the lens of a camera because he's up so high, and he talks down to The Rock, John Cena, and Seth Rollins. And as he does so, he pulls off the Raw mic guard, the little logo thing, off it and throws it away.
Like the pipe bomb.
Like the pipe bomb. He says, this is going to get us cancelled from Netflix. It felt edgy. It felt like shooty in a worked way.
Swore a lot.
It mixed in the genuine frustrations I think a lot of people have with The Rock and his presence in WWE, with the kayfabe stuff like, and I don't like Cena and Rollins. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant.
This was an incredible opening to Monday Night Raw. I remember back, a couple of years ago when we talked about Punk's return to Collision, and we did this whole thing. I was like, is it really worth AEW bringing him back because he's, the report that he was causing so many headaches? Is he really? Should AEW have brought him back, or should they just cut his losses and let them go? And you and I on that episode talked about the magic of CM Punk, whereas like the second he picks up a microphone, you're like, no, he's so captivating. Yeah, you probably should try and keep hold of him. He's one of your top guys. He's just this incredible screen presence. and it was here, and I loved it so much. I've had my thing with Punk where it's like, man, is it good to be in doodly doo tonight? And I'm like, oh, I love being back in WWE, and I'm like, I don't believe it's all phony and stuff. This, I'm like, there's CM Punk. That is CM Punk right there. This felt like voice of the voiceless CM Punk.
Yeah, so far, the Drew feud was excellent.
It was awesome.
But I never bought that Punk legitimately hated Drew. I was just enjoying the performance and the story and the characters.
And it had like the friendship bracelet stuff, which, which I didn't mind because I thought it was actually quite a nice little story beat, and I thought it was quite a good MacGuffin. But it wasn't like, it's not my favorite version of Punk, even though I thought it was WWE's best, probably one of the best rivalries of last year across all companies.
But here, they got rid of my disbelief. Yep. I believed that Punk hates The Rock.
Yeah.
And there's so much context there. Plug for our patreon.com/WrestleTalk series. We're reviewing Punk versus Rock tomorrow. Yeah. It will go up later this month at Royal Rumble 2013. But that some of these lines here says, listen up, Dwayne, you bald fraud. You think you're immune to criticism, Mr. Midlife Crisis? And he starts mock-slapping his arm, the goosebumps thing, saying, and all this loving the business bull S-word.
And he's like, basically, so it's like, you do this, and it means nothing. It's the thing that you and I make fun of. Because he's like, every time he comes out doing the whole goosebump shtick, and it's like, yeah, make fun of it.
And he says, I've never been so desperate to wear a fake title that I've never won. Key word there is that he's never won, which does mean that it's okay to wear the AEW championship. Never technically lost it. But it's all these things that we've been saying.
Yeah.
Why's The Rock got a stupid people's championship belt?
Yeah.
Why does he? It's annoying and cringy when he keeps tapping his arm for goosebumps.
And you talk about that segment as well, was the Chamber. We talked about Travis Scott, who's also got a fake title that he's never won.
So when Punk's saying that, it's the voice of the voiceless thing. We feel cathartic. And then he has this just such a killer line. He's talking about going after both Rock and Cena. And he says, and when I do, you're going to make a wish that I never did.
Make a wish. Great.
Because then he turns it into the kayfabe stuff, which is John Cena, I've known all along.
Yep.
You sell lies to kids.
You've been selling BS for 20 years.
And then he moves on to Seth Rollins and says, but right now, the man of the hour, the man I hate the most because he screwed me over at the Chamber more than Cena, really. Seth Rollins. Becky, you better come get your man before I do and put him in a hospital. Seth's music hits. And Punk, usually the wrestler would stand there and there'd be a back and forth on the microphone. Punk starts sprinting up there.
So good. If I can, just on the promo. Because this promo was so awesome. But one of the things that makes this so great, when you kind of compare it to the 2011 voice of the voiceless Punk, is that we didn't really like WWE when he was doing that. That he was like the voice of this audience that were not enjoying the product at the moment and not enjoying WWE and thought the Raw was bad, SmackDown was missable, the pay-per-views were bland. It was always just pushing Cena to the top or Randy Orton. And there was this bunch of like mid-card guys that were just mid-card forever. And CM Punk grabs this microphone and says all of this. And we're like, yeah, you're saying all the things that I'm thinking. What's great about this one is that we all like WWE at the moment, but he's just found that one little thing that some corner of the internet are like, I'm not sure about this Rock thing. And he's like, let's focus on it. So we all like WWE, but we're not keen on The Rock, who is a heel character, despite what Rock's trying to tell you in his video packages. He is a heel character.
He's playing a heel character.
I just thought everything works brilliantly here.
I think there's also a really good character triggering thing here as well, because Punk and John Cena, they hug in the Elimination Chamber. There's that wonderful moment that I missed. I've only seen it since, where John's like, I missed you. And Punk gets in and goes, I missed you too. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
That bit? So Punk's there thinking Cena's this good guy. Let's help him get the 17th world title. But then Cena aligns with Rock, and it's around WrestleMania time. Character-wise, Punk is triggered from 2013 when Rock and John Cena got the WrestleMania main event and took it away from everyone else on the roster. And that's storyline, what they're kind of doing now.
What I also love about this, and we get it later on, is when you have backstage interviewers asking wrestlers what do you make? Because this is, they were putting it over on this show. They played the video package of the Cena heel turn about 7 times across the episode.
As they should.
As they should, because it is. And but every time they did it, they were putting it over as one of the most earth-shattering things that has ever happened within WWE. It's one of the most historic things that has ever happened in this company. Maybe the most historic thing. So every wrestler should be talking about it. People say this about the Wyatt Six. Why aren't more wrestlers talking about the Wyatt Six? They murdered people. Like, did they kill Chad Gable? So you should be. So I thought the way that they opened this show with CM Punk talking about these things, you're right, like being triggered back to those 2012, 2013. I'm screwed out of my WrestleMania main event. I will find a way to main event WrestleMania. It's beautiful motivation for this character, and it fuels into his more hatred for Rollins. And then, man, did they have an awesome brawl.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to pull us back from that brawl because there's actually one more bit in this promo. It's almost flown under the radar because he says it very close to the start, and then he starts talking about all the Rock stuff. He says he hasn't exhausted all possibilities to get to WrestleMania.
Is that the favor?
The Paul Heyman favor.
Which hasn't been a factor for quite some time now.
Yeah. Almost like it's a bit smoke monstery and Lost.
Hey, they had a plan, all right?
It's the thing Rock gave Cody. It's the favor. It's the lockbox.
It's Snoke.
We'll figure it out later.
Yeah. Was it Snoke? Was that his name in Star Wars?
Yeah. But yes.
Yes.
Admirals. No.
Yeah. J.J. Abrams just basically set up a load of threads and then handed Ryan Johnson, and it was like, "What do you want me to do with them?" I don't know.
You'll probably know.
You figure out. And Ryan Johnson was like, "I'm not doing any of these."
I watched half an hour of the J.J. Abrams reboot of Star Trek over the weekend. It's dated hard. Oh, it's dated hard.
If we could bury JJ for a little bit, my favorite was when he did Star Trek Into Darkness. And it's like, Benedict Cumberbatch, he's not Khan. I'm not doing Wrath of Khan. He's not Khan. Guys, stop telling me that he's Khan. It's not Khan. Yeah, it's totally Khan.
It's Khan.
It's absolutely
not Tony Khan.
Not Tony Khan.
Totally
He's
Khan.
He was 100% Khan. And when Benedict Cumberbatch said, "My name is Khan," I had a lot of people go like,
so this Seth Rollins and CM Punk brawl was just awesome. The Wrestling Observer thinks there were some genuine shots thrown in here. Like they probably went, "We're just going to go at each other."
They should. Yeah.
It's on you guys, security, to pull us apart. We won't hurt you, security, but we will hurt each other. It
did feel like, because I've kind of had my fill of pull apart brawls a little bit. I think that Paul Levesque loves to do a pull apart brawl as
they're good.
But that's what I'm saying. So I kind of was like, I'm pretty full up of pull apart brawls because they do feel a lot the same. This one though, this is one of those ones where you're like, this is why you do a pull apart brawl, because it didn't feel like that when they're being held back, they're like, well, that's the end of the segment now. I'll just pretend like every single time. It felt like Punk was trying to get out of this and Rollins was trying to get out of this so they could just go back at each other. Man, it was so great. Like they were throwing middle fingers at each other and then
casting up a storm.
And then like during the ad break portion of this, Seth Rollins looked so angry that the crowd were chanting CM Punk. Like so mad that people were chanting for Punk.
And I think that's the strength of this entire opening segment. It felt real.
Yeah.
It felt so real. From the words to the physicality. Home run. We'll just skip to the bit later on because there was another pull apart brawl later on, and then Seth Rollins is screaming at Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce says, "You can settle this next week. We're going to blow off the rivalry in my GM in a steel cage
in Madison Square Garden
in MSG."
Yeah,
big. And I love that they say steel cage. Back in the past, in the Vince days, I go like, yeah, whatever. But now steel cage. That felt like when I was a kid watching SmackDown. And if a steel cage or a ladder match was announced for TV, I'd blow my mind. And that's what this did.
It's protecting the gimmick by not doing it all the time. And I don't know where it's going to go next week. I could see Roman, trying to get involved with Rollins and almost accidentally costing Punk the match.
In a steel cage, though, to keep people out.
It's WWE. Yeah. It's like, I don't think the WWE are particularly precious about that part of the steel cage stipulation. If the past 40 years are anything to go by. But yeah, I figured Roman gets involved next week, and that's how you set up the triple threat.
My 2K25 is coming out next week as well. Roman's the cover star.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Makes sense. Right. Excellent stuff.
Awesome.
Then we get The first of many clips of the Cena heel turn. Clip of a kid crying. Get a life. Then we're backstage with the Judgment Day, and they're celebrating the tag title win for Raquel and Liv from last week. And Balor seems to be trying to pretend to be happy, but he's annoyed, obviously.
Yeah, he's like, look, I'm happy that you won the titles, but then you lost at Elimination Chamber, and Dom lost to Bron Breakker last week, so you still suck.
And Dom's like, well, you ran away from Bron, even though you had a chair. And Finn's like,
well, I'll sort him out
I'll
tonight.
show Bron.
And we're not getting a new member.
Yes. Then we had Gunther versus Otis. So this follows on from the excellent squash match last week with Akira Tozawa. So it's Gunther versus Otis. Otis got a lot in here. Gunther never looked in trouble. Otis looked great. Gunther won. I think we feel the same way about this segment.
It was just a less good version of what they did last week. It was basically the exact same segment as last week, but not as good this time round. And it went 2 segments for the match, which I think was too long.
Yeah, Gunther shouldn't be struggling against Otis. I love Otis. I would love to see Otis get more of a run, but I don't think now is the time to be making Otis look great. And
because we've got A-Town Down Under, who I suddenly realised that if you write them down notes, it just looks like a town down under, as opposed to being an actually good name. It just is dragging this feud down. It was not even the mid card into the job squads, because these are the lowest level lads they have on these rosters, and they're feuding with them.
Yeah, because Jay runs down, makes the save in the post match, chases Gunther off, and then Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, who've done nothing for months now.
They had an interview last week.
They did the interaction last week, and they start beating up Jay, but Jay easily beats them up. Gunther runs in and then chokes out Jay. This is a pretty decent Intercontinental title feud builder.
Yeah, this was not the one. And I thought Jay cut a very good promo later on, where he's like, "You've awoken a beast in me," and it was what I had, the moment I had a couple of weeks ago where I was like, yeesh, we've got 7 weeks of this. Last week where I was like, oh, I feel like they've hit upon something. But the one thing I think that they are not fully getting over in this story is this idea that there are people who don't think Jay can beat Gunther. Like
only the heels are doing it.
It's just like, so Gunther has said it, and Pat McAfee was like, yeah, I think he can. And A-Town Down Under are saying it. But like it's all like really surface level stuff. Like I don't feel like we're fully seeing this idea that fans are doubting that he can do it, or there are loads of wrestlers doubting. Like some baby faces doubting that he can do it, I think would add a little bit more to this.
Oh yeah.
But this was one of those weeks where it's like, well, we don't really want to do too much 6 weeks out, so we'll just do what we did last week, but with a different person.
And Michael Cole at one point says it's going to be a long 7 weeks for Jey Uso.
I'll say.
No kidding. Kathy interviews AJ Styles backstage about John Cena, and he's surprised that Cena's sold out. And then Karrion Kross just walks in, puts his arm around AJ, and AJ's like, I'm going to show Logan Paul what's what, and God knows I'm evil already, so don't try and be the devil on my shoulder to Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
I don't really know what they're doing there.
No, also, I don't think this is a particularly good AJ promo as well. Like everyone else, since with the Vince shackles have been taken off people, kind of feel like real life people now. AJ felt like it was a promo from 2015.
It's because AJ is not a good babyface.
I should say 2016 when he came into the company.
He's a great babyface. My apologies. He's not a good babyface promo.
Yeah.
He's an excellent heel promo because he's dorky.
Yeah.
He needs to beat up John Cena. We got Lyra Valkyria versus Ivy Nile. I thought Lyra's selling in this was excellent. Ivy worked over her leg. But ultimately, Lyra, after being worked over for most of the match, hit a Nightwing and won.
Yeah.
This was a feud that's been built up for about 5-6 weeks.
Yeah. It's been built up since the Rumble, really.
I think even before Ivy had her eye on the IC title.
Pretty much since Lyra won the belt. Yeah, like it was fine. Serviceable is the way that I would describe it. Ivy looked great coming out of it.
She looked okay. I think the thing is, Creeds lose later as well. Chad's going to come back and be like, you were meant to win gold, and they haven't. So that will have a storyline purpose. I think Lyra's next direction is Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah,
because they set that up.
Yeah.
Raquel was like, yeah, I'll go after the IC belt.
She could win that as well, they're protecting Raquel a lot.
Then Seth got the backstage thing with the steel cage announcement. Ludwig Kaiser cuts an in-ring promo. He's excellent at everything he does. There is not a wasted movement on this man.
It's so great.
Every little flicker of the eyebrow means something. And he says that he'll teach Penta what fear really looks like. Penta came down, beat him up, and stood tall.
Yeah. I think it's Lucha Bros versus Penta and Dunn at Mania.
If it is, that's disappointing. There's no direction for the tag belts at the moment. Just going a feud with War Raiders. Face versus face.
Yeah.
Have them win the belts at WrestleMania in their first match or something.
I mean, that'd be a very good direction to do. What do you then do with Ludwig Kaiser and poor old Pete Dunne?
I'm sure there's a WrestleMania showcase Battle Royal thing.
There's an Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Yeah.
They still do that, right?
Not everyone can be on WrestleMania as much as I love Ludwig Kaiser and Pete Dunne. They played another Cena clip, but this time it was of all the different language commentators.
My friend Kel texted me and was like, do you think WWE were proud of that Cena angle with the amount they showed it on Raw? And I was like, yeah, it was when I saw it with the French commentary that the emotion of the angle really hit home with me. We were joking back and forth. They should have done this. Yeah. This needed to be across the entire show. If anything, they almost didn't show it enough because this is like the biggest deal.
No, they did. They did show it. They showed it enough.
They showed it the right amount.
I wouldn't have showed it one more time.
Oh, I would have done.
But I'm glad they got to that bit. And this is why AEW's dying. Because they don't make the moments feel as big as this.
Here is why I would advocate for one more airing of this brawl in the show.
Who's asking for that?
With comments from other wrestlers. Like, like interview clips with The Miz talking about it. And you could the War Raiders talking about this. Otis talking about this. Asking everyone from the roster, what do you make of this? And them giving their thoughts on John Cena. That'd be I would add one more in and do that.
You know what? That's a fantastic idea.
Thank you.
Cena isn't around next week either.
Yeah.
Do that through the whole show next week.
Yeah.
With different, I think that's a really good one.
You
but not as good as what came next.
Man, I really thought, because the report from this is that Chad was supposed to have a match in AAA. And that's why he was doing this whole, I'm going to go to Mexico. And then it just fell apart, for whatever Conan reasons. And who could possibly say? So that was the report. So I really thought that we're not going to get anything from this. He's just going to come back and be like, oh, I've learned the dark arts now. So we actually got a video here of him in Mexico asking locals, do you know this man?
Yeah, and it's got, for me, it's got Jeremy Borash's fingerprints all over it.
Hasn't it just?
It's like that filming style that you would get in TNA or NXT, a couple of years ago as well. And Chad's walking around. He goes down a back alley and he meets a mysterious man in a poncho. And I feel you couldn't quite see the guy's face. He was obviously very old.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was real flesh. I don't know if that was shoot flesh.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a bit of working flesh.
Bit of makeup on there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So maybe there's a secret identity underneath that.
No.
And maybe it's Dario Cueto.
It's just, the focus is now the box.
No, it's Lucha Underground.
I know that's what you want, but I don't think this is Lucha Underground. I think this is just the box.
So there's a funny moment when the man is like, your secrets are all in here, and it's this battered cardboard box, and Chad hands him over one note, and the guy just goes, no. Hands him over another and another. That was well done. And then Chad gets the box, and he opens it up, and it cuts just before you see what's inside. But you get the sort of Pulp Fiction briefcase golden glow.
So it's a mask, right?
Yeah, I think I would say it's a mask.
And I've written in my notes here, Ollie is getting El Chadador.
They better not do El Luchador.
No, yeah, Luchador.
Because it just sounds like Luchador.
Yeah, I think actually El Chadador is much better.
Yeah.
Credit to you. Sure, everyone in the comments pointed out that Luchador was right there.
It's a better pun written down.
It's funnier to be clunkier.
Yeah. I just wish I had realised that Luchador was also an option. I just didn't. I was just clunky.
Yeah.
Because I was clunky, not on purpose.
Yeah. It was not as smooth as Solo Vortex, I agree.
I hope this isn't the last one. I hope this isn't just, you've got a mask, you appear on Raw next week. Which, you know what? I think that's what's going to happen.
Particularly with both of the Creeds losing.
I want next week to be Chad, first day at the dungeon.
Yeah.
And it's him in the mask. Or like maybe he tries to put it on and the old guy's like, no, you must learn and earn the respect of the mask.
You've got to learn a Hurricane Rana first.
Yeah. Maybe he has to wrestle the mask. There's so many fun things you can do here.
Wrestle the mask.
Yeah, like
he tries to put it on. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, you must
like
tame
Venom.
the mask.
It's like a symbiote.
Yes.
I two minds on this. This was a very good video. And you're right. This is Borash through and through, and I very much like that. And Chad Gable is the perfect person to do this with. And Chad in a mask does seem like it's a very funny thing to do. But does it make American made a bunch of geeks? And
the rebrand's coming.
And I was kind of looking to them to be a good, serious team angle group. But it looks like he's just going to do Alpha Academy again.
Yeah. I mean, I made my peace with that late last year when I realized this wasn't happening. I'm sorry everyone else still has hope.
Oh, I'm still holding on. I still think it's going to be Gunther for the IC title. I still think it could happen.
After that, we went into the Creeds versus the War Raiders. This is the excellently built tag team title match.
Yeah, so excellently built. It had less heat than a Lyra Valkyria IC title match.
Really good match, though.
Very good match, but it was incredible how much murmuring there was from the crowd and how little heat. Until they started doing some dives at the end, and all of a sudden they started chanting, "This is awesome."
Yeah.
I think it was time to retire this chant.
I get really annoyed when a crowd go from a 3 to a "This is awesome" chant.
Yeah.
Like, no, you can't do that. You've got to be building, and then the "This is awesome" comes out of the 7-8 build.
This is sullying the good name of 2005 TNA, which made that chant famous.
So War Machine, they retained, really. Very good match.
Yeah.
But that sort of lacked the drama of the first one, I felt, with that great finish. And
it's almost as if that was a bad finish and it didn't pay off into a good match, or another good match with a heated match. But yeah, I thought this was good.
And the Creeds are goldless, so Gable might have words with them. And War Raiders, who knows what they do going forward. I've got my Penta Ray Phoenix pitch for WrestleMania. It'd be pretty cool.
Should always be Penta.
Just because it's in my notes here, this is when Pat McAfee sort of talked about getting annoyed about the Canadians booing the US national anthem.
Yeah.
And he apologized and then undermined the apology. Very, very magnificent trick he can do there by apologizing. It's sorry, not sorry, really.
It's almost like he doesn't mean it. It's almost like someone from his PR team has said, you should probably apologize to the Canadians. And he said, I don't want to do that. But they're like, I suggest that you do. So he did it without doing it.
Yeah. All right, I'll do it. That's the conversation backstage. We got a recap of the excellent Sami versus KO match from Chamber. And Cole said that Sami has re-aggravated his neck injuries and he will be out indefinitely.
Yeah, he's off WrestleMania. I think that's what you and I were.
That's the right move. Yeah.
You and I talked about this at the Chamber, but yeah, I don't think he's going to be wrestling at Mania. And to be honest, the only match that was there for him is Karrion Kross. And it doesn't feel like it's a big-time WrestleMania thing for him. It's something that he can do when he comes back.
Well, they're also talking about this big Bron Breakker 6-way. I could have seen him in that.
Is there a big Bron Breakker?
I feel like I heard that, but maybe I just dreamt it.
It's just because they've been setting up so many people on TV for him to face. I think if Sami came back and he was just in the IC title 6-man picture, I'd feel that's a huge step down for Sami Zayn.
The LWO got a little cool pre-produced film. Not as razzmatazz as the Chad Gable stuff, but it had its own unique feel where they're in this Mexican-style bar with the neon lights in the background. And there was a sort of Mexican-style guitar underneath what they were saying. They were talking threateningly. We're going to have a tornado tag with you next week, New Day. Like, usually if you said, oh, it's a tornado tag, I don't care. But the way it was framed and the vengeance thing, we can do anything, it's no DQ, they sold me on it. I thought this was very well done.
I'll tell you how good this was. At the end of it, Ray and Dragon Lee did the New Day sucks thing, where one of them would say new and the other said day sucks. And it was really cringy and clunky. But at the end of it, I was like, I can't wait to see that match.
Yeah. I hope they do more of these style vignettes, which they used to do in NXT all the time. They've sort of pulled back on that a bit. And then goes to break, comes back. Finn is mid-sentence, heckling Bron Breakker up in the crowd. So Bron must have been getting interviewed by Jackie Redmond.
Yeah.
And they're talking...
Which is weird. So, again, I'm asking, you don't get the ad breaks?
No, not on my paid version of Netflix.
So you're on a higher level of Netflix
I said you should get the upgrade.
What, so I could get less of the show? Because I get more show than you do.
But I don't want any more show. It's 2.5 hours long.
But I got to see. I mean, I don't watch it, but I was like, oh, I get to see that Bron was doing an interview. I saw that Otis did his entrance about 4 segments before he actually had his match. I got to see Io Sky's entrance. I don't understand how I'm paying for less of Netflix, but I am getting more of the show than you are.
It is weird. I think most other people will be getting ads in those slots.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting point. So Finn says he can take the title from him whenever he likes. That's why you're up there in the crowd. And Bron's like, all right, mate. And he walks down. It's a long way.
It was.
Took a while. And he gets in.
The ad break.
But it's a trap. And first Carlito attacked him. You should never attack someone at the same time. You should definitely do it one by one. Yeah. And then Dom attacked him. And Bron beat them both up. Then he beat up Finn in the ring. And then Finn and Dom escaped. And Bron killed Carlito with a spear outside.
Yeah. It's good.
I don't care, to be honest.
Yeah. Finn is never getting above a certain position in this company.
And then, because I thought we were going to get AJ Bron. And there was the T-shirt rip and AJ caught the T-shirt.
Go back to it. Gotta have a little patience, you know. Doesn't feel like we're on the road to WrestleMania now.
And then the final bit was because we've already covered Ripley versus Sky. That's when Jey Uso has his backstage interview, and I thought Kathy Kelly is one ginger dye job away from being April from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No,
she's got like the coat on. She's got the glasses.
Kathy Kelly wears glasses.
Doesn't April?
No.
I'm sure she
April
does.
O'Neil doesn't wear glasses. I think the new film that came out last year, whichever was, Mutant Mayhem, I think that April O'Neil might have glasses.
Oh, there you go. I was right then.
It's, April O'Neil classically is not really a glasses wearer.
I'm sure she does. What do you know about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. You know, I'm going to Google that. I think I'm just thinking of the 86 one. But I don't think, pretty sure the Sarah Michelle Gellar April O'Neil didn't. Yeah. Or Megan Fox one didn't.
Yeah. It's not bothering you, is it?
Well, no,
I'm just gonna
do a quick Google.
Just gotta flex a couple of casting things, there. Well, anyway, that's Raw.
Unfortunately, it's brought up the porn star April O'Neil. Oh no. Oh no!
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh no! Oh dear! I need to
turn safe search on.
I need to remove some of the search history.
God, thank God that isn't hooked up to the camera.
And also, that just happened just as Sean Ross Sapp enters the chat as well.
Oh, what's Sean doing here? What's he said?
He said, "Oh, it's these guys."
Oh, okay. He's trying to get himself over in the chat. I thought it was an excellent episode. I gave it like an 87%, which is one of the highest I've ever given a Raw episode. Great show.
Yeah, I thought this was an awesome episode of Raw. Kind of like it was bookended with awesomeness. Like the rest of the stuff in the middle was fine mostly. Like, Ivy and Lyra was good, and the tag match was good. The Penta angle was good. It wasn't like anything mind-blowing in the middle portion of this, but it was bookended by so many 2 5-star things that I'm like, yeah, really, really good episode of Raw.
Please do cast your vote in the poll. Let's get on with your remaining Omega chats. Who am I? Your chatadors. Dirty Ollie Davis writes, I think Rhea and Bianca will cancel each other out. Both have history with Io. She's Rhea's kryptonite, and I think we all consider her Bianca's main rival. Io wins, pinning Rhea. Bianca wins around SummerSlam maybe, and we get a proper build.
Interesting. It's it's whether or not for me it's whether or not how much WWE have stock in this Bianca Belair WrestleMania streak.
I would say build the streak. VGC Legends. I was legitimately shocked when Io won the title. I came into the match thinking she wouldn't win because she didn't get a proper entrance. As soon as Rhea turned to Bianca, I was like, wait, is Io really winning this? Then she won. So 3-way at Mania?
I'll be honest, dude. Even in that moment when she was getting in Bianca's face, there was this fleeting thought in the back of my mind. I was like, well, this could lead to Io winning. Yeah. And even then I squashed that. I'd be like, no.
Well, pick up the pace because I've just seen we've had loads of chats. So thank you very much. Itdesi2000. For those who would be upset if Io losing, what would be your suggestion? To have Bianca lose? She has been away from the main title long enough to where I believe she too deserves a run also. Genuinely just want your perspective as I love both.
Well, it's one of those things where not everyone gets to be the champion. You can't have all people be the champion. Even if they deserve to be the champion, you can't have everyone be the champion because otherwise everyone just has a 1-month title reign and then the title becomes meaningless. And that's what it was for 20 odd years.
And I think build the streak. Benny Adams. They put up a post-match interview for Rhea and it was fantastic piece of character work. Io winning with the power of friendship and Rhea has isolated herself is a great match story. Also, wrestling school fun fact. Taking a suplex is really fun.
Yeah.
A hot tag to you.
Agent X says, would be fun if R-Truth becomes a stooge for John Cena. R-Truth follows him blindly, wanting to impress him because he's his hero.
I don't like that, but I do like Truth standing up to Cena. Because of his childhood hero.
This is also on John Cena from the Black Prince. OMFG, it's the Hollywood Balls. I legit didn't see it coming. It's amazing. My brother and I popped off hard on the blatant F-bomb and Maggle saying S, and I have to stress that Travis Scott was also there for some reason. I'm so excited for heel Cena.
The Hollywood Balls is very good. I haven't thought of that.
Wed Day timetable. With Cena as a heel, we must ask, what do heels do? Heels lie. No one has stopped to ask, what if Cena retiring is a lie? Saying he's going to retire for him as a free pass into the chamber. Cena's 47, The Rock's 52 and still wrestles. Cena could be lying.
I had thought that as well. I think that would be a mistake to do that.
Your company is so hot right now, and you are selling a lot of tickets on the idea you're not going to see John Cena again at these shows. If you then, at the end of the year, be like, psych, he's going to be doing loads more shows, it breeds distrust with an audience. Swanton Steve says, Cena torments Cody till WrestleMania. Cena loses and Rock threatens Cena for losing. Cena realizes his mistake, wants redemption, wins Money in the Bank, still hated. Cena finally redeems face self by cashing in to help Cody win champ by sacrificing his own chance at 17. Cena is Tony Stark.
Oh, I quite like that story. It's nice, but I don't think that's the best one to do with Cena.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Cena's winning at Mania. Sammy724 said, did Cena turn heel? Needed more recaps. The three top stories out of the PLE were Cena, Rock, Cody, Jade, Naomi, and Randy KO. None were on Raw. It was a great show, but why does Triple H always let the iron cool on big moments instead of striking while it's hot?
I know what you mean, but I was really impressed at how much I didn't mind watching this show. Maybe it's because I knew Cena wasn't going to be there.
Should also point out as well, like, Randy and KO and Jade and Naomi are SmackDown. Those are SmackDown stories. So I'm not surprised to not see them on Raw. And actually with Cena, we talked about this on the Chamber show. It's going to be gone for a while. So I wasn't I knew they got the 1 week here where you can do recaps on this episode and Cody doing a promo on SmackDown. And the Mayor of Painesville Dan says, hello Luke, hello Ollie, hope you are doing well. Hate has risen above him, he turned heel. John Cena has turned heel. Young me knew it all along. Someone called Jon Stewart now, or Goldust, or both. Elimination Chamber was awesome.
Jon Stewart has weirdly done a video on the Daily Show that went up like last night, I guess. Like, it's like Trump turns heel on Zelensky. And it's looking at it through a pro wrestling lens.
Yeah.
Because he's a wrestling fan.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
very strange to see that, like Bizarro Land stuff.
Shaggy Dudley says, next week on Raw, Chad opens the box and pulls out an El Generico mask. This leads to a reverse of last year, and we see several training montages of Chad being pushed by the greatest luchador ever. Book it, Triple H. I'll pay you $5.
Oh my, can you imagine if Chad is trained by El Generico?
Yeah.
Who's a mute. Trying to teach him an arm drag without saying anything. Yeah. Oh, that is brilliant. And you know what? Because they're separate people, it doesn't undermine the Kevin Owens match.
It really wouldn't, because they're not. I mean, even though Michael Cole weirdly said that they.
That is a mistake. But, he
called
the Rolex a brass knucks.
Mistakes happen sometimes. Take it easy, said. What's in the box? It's a Fight Club reference.
Yep.
I guess it's either a mask or the Gauntlet of the Gods from Lucha Underground. Also, just want to thank you for bringing my love for wrestling back 5 years ago. I start ring announcing next week, and we'll be doing training soon.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's great.
Good luck.
Rafael Garcia said, I have hot takes. 1, the old man that gave Chad the box is really Kerwin White, a.k.a. Chava Guerrero in a wig. You can't tell me otherwise. Number 2, Jessica Carr was paid off by the WrestleMania 41 Triple Threat Order of the Water Buffalo, and I hated 3, Free Carlito.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about that. Jessica Carr, the referee, used referee's discretion to let the match continue. I liked that.
Even though Bianca pushed Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a... It was a push.
Yeah, it wasn't blatant interference.
Yeah.
Real Double J, what's in the box? It's a Menu Stir at Goats parody. I was trying to think of a different Brad Pitt movie.
The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
An Alien 3 reference. And El Chadador mask? No, it's the return of Mr. America, brother. That, or it's an old pair of purple trunks with Shorty G written on them. Ollie, before presentations at work, I drink a hot lemon and Manuka honey drink. Manuka honey to ward off the tickle.
That's a really good tip, actually. Someone else told me that about the honey. Just sort of coats the throat to stop the tickling. I'll do that. Thank you.
Tell you a sex tape. Rock is an organic egg. This is exactly how I fancy booked the night to end. Heavy on the fantasy. Also, it really popped me when Luke said Cena should have a new metal theme for his heel turn, and Ollie had a Cena rock music. What? Look? Really, because what? Love you, Luke. We have an unknown username here. Please do let our moderators know. Like, guys, I know it's a 7 reference. That's the joke. It's a Streamlabs issue. Please let our moderators know. Hi, lads. I thought the opening angle was one of the best we've had all year, maybe longer, and the main event came as a real shock. P.S. Are any of the WrestleTalk team going to the shows at the O2? Would love to meet you guys and definitely buy you a drink. Well,
you buy us a ticket.
We talked about this today, because one of the guys who goes to my board game night was also asking if I was, going to go to that. And we said, we actually haven't looked into tickets. Maybe we'll look into getting it. So then I looked, and tickets are currently £450 each for decent seats.
Yes.
$500 each.
So it's £1,000 for us to go.
That is...
Well, I know the Patreon's doing well, but...
So I then found resale tickets, and it's the cheapest ones I could find were behind the entrance, in the corner, in the back row of the corner. And they were £150 each for rubbish views. And Triple H is going to go out and be like, highest gate ever for an O2. Yeah, no shit, it's that high. If you see how expensive these tickets are, that is, we've got quite a platform here. I think that is too much money to ask people to pay for a wrestling show.
Well, people are paying it. That's the thing.
I can't. It's mind-boggling.
There are products, they're selling the thing and it's selling.
Oh,
if it didn't sell, they'd lower the prices. But it is, not to play my little violin. That is my birthday weekend. That would be very nice to go to SmackDown and Raw.
Yeah, imagine if you want to go to both of them. That was just to go to Raw. Roach Senpai said, happy EO1. Nice having a new champion. Luke, you mentioned that Uso's intercontinental run was a moment. Isn't him winning the World Heavyweight Championship on the same level? He is over, but he is someone who pushes it or someone who just says yeet all the time. No, I think those are different things. So Jay winning the IC title, then losing it 2 weeks later, was done for just the moment and to say, and he's won a singles title. If he wins the world title and then has a run with it, that's not done for the moment. That is putting the world title on probably your most over babyface, or one of your most over babyfaces. Geordie Bus Driver, who's been a member for 5 months in a row, said, after the hype of the Chamber, this was a solid Raw. The first segment with Punk was fantastic. The tag title match was great, and Io winning was such a surprise. Aaron Hanrahan has been a member for 41 months in a row, says, a great opening, a great main event. This is my GM. CM Punk cutting promos like it's 2012. Want to relive 2012? Go to Patreon. Io is great. Will Campbell said, really liked this show. The opening segment was awesome and I loved the main event. Thank God Jessica Carr didn't call for the DQ and Bianca shoved Rhea. Also, Julius Creed may be one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen. How about that shooting star press?
He's so good, yeah.
Awesome.
And his brother's got so much charisma.
Brutus doing a 450. It was nuts. Stephen Costa has been a member for 33 months in a row. Said, hello, lads. Well, Elimination Chamber was something, right? Jeez, never expected that so much to talk about. Raw was great as well. Love you guys. Love you. Chris H said, hey gents, love the channel and the Patreon. Hope you haven't received any letters from Lib Dems about Sullivan's Gold Dust costumes. Comments. My issue with the Punk Roman Seth Mania plan is that I feel Punk Roman conflict is a bit undercooked at the moment.
They've got a lot of the Survivor Series context there to fire up. I'm sure, there's a Paul Heyman right there. Yeah. I think you can ignite that like that.
I think it just takes one promo between them. And also, if you're adding Punk into the mix, you can easily bring up, as long as Triple H will allow it, the Shield was Punk's idea, because the WWE history books have told you that Triple H was the one who came up with the Shield, but it was a Punk idea. Tino RSA said, hi, ear from sunny Madeira. I hope that Zayn helps Owens against Orton at WrestleMania and realizes that he is wrong. And any chances you can see a way where we don't get a triple threat between Punk, Roman, and Rollins? No, not at this point, because if it's not a triple threat, then I don't know what Punk's doing.
The only way is if Punk goes into the Cena Cody match, which I think is unlikely. I think
it's unlikely at this point. I mean, it's what I would have done, but I think it's unlikely at this point. And yeah, that was my pitch as well for Zayn and Owens. CJ Zephyr here said, hey Luke, hey Ollie, long-time listener, first-time chatter. Maybe I'm too optimistic, but the last couple of weeks for me have proven patience is worth paying off. I'm totally on board for this road to WrestleMania more than I already was. This is pure wrestling.
That's more like it. It's pure wrestling.
Like, I totally get what you mean about, we're now going on that road to WrestleMania. I think more like my whole thing with Triple H is the smugness of are you happy now? It's like, well, you did book a nothing show for 3 months. You could have actually started the road to WrestleMania a lot earlier. The Royal Rumble, maybe. Hepsy here said, the last thing Roman was aiming for was getting the title back, so you guys think that he will be involved in the Cena-Cody storyline. And I wish they managed to get Steve Austin involved this year. What do you think?
I don't think this match needs a load of Avengers running bits. No. I think you've got enough there with Cena, Cody, and Rock.
Charles Berg's been a member for 45 months in a row. Poke says, Punk is dope. Sky versus Belair will be sick. I want to see how a heel Cena will work. He should kill R-Truth when he returns. Charles Berg for champion 2025. Power Packers 90 has been a member for 42 months in a row. Said, okay, so tell him when he's telling lies. Well, didn't he have a fake world title in AEW for 3 months? And Cena did technically win clean. Calm down, Ollie. I'm just kidding.
Good, because Punk worked that into his promo. He didn't tell lies.
Team Ghost Rider Inc. says, hello, WrestleTalk team. This is crazy to think about with both Elimination Chamber and Raw being great. It's just crazy. Anyway, let me be serious. Has Luke claimed his money from Ollie Davis yet? Because Ollie is avoiding him for some reason.
It's double or nothing.
It is double or nothing at WrestleMania.
It's £20 on the line if Jey Uso and Gunther open a show.
Yeah.
You get the money.
Mayor of Painesville Dan says, hello, Luke. Hello, Ollie. Hope you're doing well. I have a request for the SWAF Nation. I'm coming to WrestleMania 41.
Dan!
First time in the USA, and I'm all on my own. So if anyone wants to connect, please hit me up at Walu2Go on your favorite social media. That's WALU, the number 2GO.
Walu2Go.
Oh, man. Hang out with Dan. He's such a blast. He's such a good dude. Akihiko Sanada has tipped with no message. Thank you very much. And King Burbs here says, hey guys, hope you guys are all right. Went to Chamber and man, Cena and Punk, that's my childhood right there. I'm 18 and watched around 2009, but always caught up. And then an amazing Raw. Needed that ending to Raw. Keep the unexpected going. Jam, that's jam. I find it so weird when people say, "Man, Cena and Punk is my childhood." It's like, oh, I was an adult.
Those were my mid-20s.
Right, well, let's end this poll.
We just had one more. Space Tato says, "Hey guys, love all the content you guys are doing, especially that Mustache War over on Patreon. Raw opener was amazing, pure emotion behind that. Hope you guys get to a match at the O2. P.S. Luke, I hope you like the art over on Instagram. We saw that earlier."
I did. I showed it to Ollie this morning. The only reason I didn't, because I was going to add it to my Instagram stories, but I didn't because I don't was a spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen the finale of Mustache Night War just yet.
Oh, yeah.
So I haven't reposted it, but it was awesome. It was one of the first things I showed to Ollie when I got in this morning. But yeah, we've closed the poll. Unsurprisingly, very positive episode. 90% thumbs up.
Yeah, it's a great
7% in the middle.
Amazing. Well, please go over and check out our sponsors, Geology, with the barcode there or the link in the video description or the chat. But for now, I've been Ollie Davis. This has been Luke Owen, DAD, your Jam That Champion. Jam that jam.
Jam that jam.